Ronan here, and we are just a couple of short days away from the big Mortal Kombat 11 reveal showcase, and while there isn't a whole lot to discuss, there has been a steady trickle of delicious morsels almost every day lately for us to digest. So I figured I would take one final moment to recap all the latest stuff before we get into the thick of it on Thursday. So let's just take a minute and start with these character shots that were released. Now, NRS set the community on fire last week with a full entire render of our boy Shao Kahn chilling like a villain in a suspicious looking chamber, holding his warhammer, looking straight up ready to take his Skeletor looking ass to Pound Town.
You will no longer stand between me and my destiny. But I will.
Now, one thing we all seem to unanimously agree on is this is indeed an in-game screenshot taken from what we are all assuming is the character customization screen. It shares far too many visual similarities with Injustice 2's screen to not really be anything other than that. So if you just take Injustice 2 and imagine turning off all the UI, it's kind of a similar thing that we have here. Now, aside from the astounding graphics that we have here, the first thing that we all kind of pondered was the fact that he was holding his weapon, further fueling the flame that weather-based combat is indeed in tow for this game. It led to some further speculation that surely, of course, if they're going to drop Shao Kahn, that they would release maybe Raiden and Scorpion. A couple days later, there he was, Raiden, standing on the same customization platform. He imposes his dark self in this 4K Unreal Engine 4 hotness. There's a lot of back and forth here with what people think about his appearance, but I happen to really enjoy it. I love it. I think it's a great Raiden appearance. Now, there's a clear golden theme here happening with everything, with all the character designs really, but I don't really hate it. I think this franchise could use some color again. Much like his counterpart Shao Kahn, he is also holding his staff, which is different than the one that he actually wielded in the announced trailer. I'm sure you noticed that. This is probably a case of either A, customization is at hand, which we're hoping, or B, they just hadn't finalized the staff design in the trailer and they just used the one from MKX that he used in the cutscene with Fujin. Either way, I couldn't be more in love with the visuals here. These graphics are really on par with the likes of nothing I have ever seen in a fighting game. This is truly beautiful visual fidelity that we've never seen. It's amazing. I'm super excited about it and I'm fanboying the fuck out on it. One thing, however, I want to point out is there is clear evidence afoot that these are indeed screenshots. If you compare Raiden and Shao Kahn, you'll notice that the fog in the background above Shao Kahn's hammer and Raiden's staff is formed differently in each picture, which is indicative of animation taking place. Animation, however, would not be present in static renders, so these shots were, as evidence presents, captured from a live feed. Believe that. But where is my boy Scorpion? Surely, if they revealed Raiden and Shao Kahn, they would show off the poster boy of the franchise, right? Right. They waited a couple days, but as sure as you're fucking born, they released Scorpion in the same customization screen, showing off his amazing, what I think, amazing character model. Yes, like the other two, his spear is in hand, and weapons are indeed all but confirmed to be a huge part of the battle. Now, as I mentioned before, in other videos, Scorpion, hands down, is my favorite character in the entire series. So I would be a bit remiss if I didn't spend a second busting a metaphorical nut over this design. I think it is absolutely perfect. He looks straight up like a ninja again. It's something he hasn't really had in a long time. I like it a hell of a lot better than I liked his last couple of defaults, like MK9 and MKX. People complain, I've seen on different forums and things, people are complaining that this design for 11 is a bit too busy, but do you even remember his MK9 default costume? That was straight fucking silly. It was just ridiculously gaudy, much like a lot of the other costumes in that game. I didn't care for it. But this one is straight fire, and no pun intended there. And to be able to customize this even further to your liking, that's gonna be sweet, if you know what I'm saying. Next up, Ed Boon shared with us the final cover for the game, which took a lot of us by storm because cray, we've seen this before. If you remember the email leak, you remember the key art in there that I had in the video that we talked about this. I mentioned it to be the most convincing thing, as it was a piece of art that looked too legit to quit. Well, now here it is. It's legit and it is not quitting. The gold is large and in charge here, really hammering home this color scheme of the game. It'll be interesting to see with other characters' lines, like characters such as like Katana, where gold isn't even a blink in the eye of their color scheme, and if they try to work it in there and shoehorn gold into that somehow. But either way, regardless, as for this cover, I dig it a hell of a lot. I like it a whole lot more than I like MKX's, that's for sure. It's much more exciting to the eye, where MKX was very stripped down, very serious, and I'm fucking Scorpion, I'm gonna kill some people. This is like, I don't know, it's back to being fun again, is kind of the implication I get from it. Plus the implication of the leaks, which of course we're going to get into here in a moment. But first, before the leaks, lizards. Ed Boon, in typical eyebrows fashion, is relishing in your agony, wherein you read into his every word and you think everything means something. And to further fuel that needy anguish, he posted this picture of this lizard. This lizard, whom I believe is simply a background asset who likely just scurries across the stage of the courtyard in between rounds or something. Could be a character intro, but that is all. It is not confirmation of reptile. It is most certainly not an indication of chameleon, and this is not Scarlet, no Cybot, Jade, Chrome, Trimmer, Kano's fleshy eye, Sindel's nipples. It's just a lizard. It's just Ed Boon, creative director of NetherRealm Studios, trying to get your jimmies in a bunch and keep that hype rolling. It is an impressive looking lizard, though, I will say that. Again, these graphics, though. Okay, let's circle back to that game cover and the now infamous email leak when what this all means. There are some fans who are out there claim that sure, this cover turned out right, but that doesn't mean that the rest of the leak is legit. Come on now. Yes, it does. Why would one very important piece of this leak be right, but yet the rest somehow be fabricated beyond belief? You know it to be true. You just don't want to admit that Ronda Rousey is now Sonya Blade in a PR move that is surely to gain extra sales. You do not want to admit that Chronica is a legit character name, and you don't want to admit that Garrus is one of our new fires. But I'm telling you, combined with the cover as well as the music within being confirmed as a legitimate new track from Dimitri Vegas, who will be unveiling it officially at the event, these puppies are real. Now, it's up to you, of course, if you want to have an open mind here and wait until you see what they do with all of this before you start freaking out. You just never know. It could all end up being okay. The next thing I want to gloss over real quick that I haven't really seen speculated much is this tweet from Sean Kittleson, who is most known for writing the comics to MKX, who of course went on to write the story for Injustice 2 and is now writing the story for MK11. This is his first real tweet in a long time. And here he is mentioning that, hey, maybe go check out the MKX comics if you hadn't yet. It's a good time to do so. I think this might be a subtle way of saying, hey, read these storylines because they are going to play a whole lot more importance in the canon of MK11 than they did with MKX. So you just never know. It's something to ponder. What do you think? Do you think that the MKX comics might tie around now with Kittleson writing into having much more importance? Maybe with some stuff with Havoc, maybe with the Blood God stuff. That all might come back around here. The last bit of news came from the MK Twitter today, actually, just before I recorded this video, wherein they revealed that the next update for the MKX mobile game will rebrand the game completely simply into just Mortal Kombat and will be, quote, the main game for all Mortal Kombat experiences. Now, I know a lot of you are super into the mobile game, so it's worth talking about. I never really gave it much of a shot, but if they tie exclusive MK11 gear into it or whatever stuff that you can unlock in the mobile game that ties over into the main game, I guess I better get that shit installed. But as for now, guys, that is all the current stuff that has happened in the Mortal Kombat 11 sphere over the last little while. Now, of course, in the next couple days, we're having the huge reveal event, and we're going to be covering all kinds of fucking shit. We're going to break down gameplay videos. We're going to break down character stuff. We're going to get crazy on this channel with Mortal Kombat 11 coming up. So be sure you press that subscribe button. Be sure you press the bell so you're in the know. Be sure you're following me on Twitter. Let's talk. Be sure you're checking us out on Discord so you can talk with other like-minded fans such as yourself and me. And guys, that is all today. My name is Adam Ronan. We will see you soon. And get the fuck over here and press that subscribe button. And check us out on patreon.com/R24.